Dirt Trax is sponsored by Can-Am. We're built for this. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. And by Yamaha, conquer outdoors.
In last week's episode, you got to see Luke put the Polaris Sportsman 1000S to the test and really give it a good shakedown. However, you may have noticed that winter has set in early in our parts, and that's precisely why today I'm going to show you that the 1000S Sportsman isn't just a beast on the sports side of things, but also in the utility department as well. If you remember back to my Razor 900 Fox Edition build, I used the Polaris website to dial in all of the parts for that build. And when it comes to the Sportsman 1000S, I did the exact same thing. Because with so many models of ATV and side-by-sides from one manufacturer, it can be hard to know what parts will and won't fit your ATV. And in this case, with a Polaris, it's pretty simple. I just plug in my year and model, and all available accessories that will actually fit come up on the screen. Then I compile them into a cart, and voila, I have my pricing and availability. I can send it to my dealership, and bada bing, we're in business. Ready to outfit our Polaris Sportsman with parts that fitment isn't questionable on, but verified by the manufacturer. I know I make a big deal about this point, but I've been down the universal road many times, and it's never universal. Having the knowledge that the Polaris parts I'm ordering were designed at the same time as the ATV itself by the folks at Polaris means that I'm not going to need the Sawzall, 15-pound sledgehammer, or other fine-tuning instruments to make a generic part fit. And to me, and more importantly for you who have better things to do than try to custom engineer mounting brackets or hack up a brand new part to try to make it work, means that you'll be installed and out using your parts and not scratching your head back in the shop. So now with all of that covered, let's get down to business. And business for today is the impending weather and the snowfalls ahead. Many of you folks live in areas just like us where an ATV or a side-by-side isn't just a toy. It's a functional piece of snow removal equipment for as much as 6 months of the year. And so today, I'm going to show you that the Sportsman 1000S is ready for moving snow with a few key accessories. Okay, well maybe I'll put on a few that just make snow plowing much more enjoyable too. Right up front, it's pretty obvious that we're going to need a plow, but you're going to have to choose 3 separate pieces to make any plow setup work on your ATV. Firstly, you're going to need a mounting bracket, and again, I can't stress enough how beneficial it is to work with a vehicle-specific mount for a plow. It makes life so much easier and the job way quicker. This particular Glacier plow mount is falling down simple to install and can be quickly removed from the Sportsman once we're done for the season, which is a big bonus for a sporty ATV like the 1000S. Along with easy removal, the whole Glacier plow system is made to be super quick and simple to both install and remove from the ATV in just a matter of a few seconds. Now keep in mind, with 99% of ATVs, you're going to have a winch installed to be able to make your plow work, and in our case, the 1000S came from the factory with a winch already pre-installed. Now up next, you need to choose the plow frame. This is the hardware between the mount and the blade of the plow itself, and it really is the structure that keeps the plow straight and on course with the snow that you're pushing. On top of being the structure to the plow, the frame also houses the mechanism to allow the blade to angle. The frame is made out of tube steel and has been E-coated and powder coated, so it'll be around for many worry-free years of service. The Glacier plow frame is also designed to accept taller plows than most other systems on the market today. Now obviously I need to put a plow on here before any kind of work's going to get done, and so I went with a healthy size plow for a healthy size ATV. And at 60 inches wide and a whopping 16.75 inches tall, this is a big plow, and there is no denying that. I went for the steel design built from 14 gauge and powder coated for durability. There are other size options and poly plows available for the Glacier system, but when you've got a Sportsman 1000S, you might as well use all that power in low range as well as high. The plow attaches pretty simply with a few bolts and spacers, and then we're able to hook up the tipping springs and we're ready to plow mountains of snow, and thanks to the extra tall height of this blade, we might just be working with mountains by the end of the winter too. Now while we're on the subject of plowing, I'm always looking for more light up front when I'm plowing, because in my neck of the woods come winter, it's dark by the time I get home and actually need to use the plow on the driveway. As you may know, the Scrambler 1000S comes with a cool 10-inch rigid light bar up front, and so I thought, why wouldn't we want to do the same setup right here on the front of our Sportsman? Not only for winter plowing, but all year-round illumination. The rigid SR Series 10-inch light bar is housed in an aluminum frame and features stainless mounting hardware so it won't rust. It throws out 7,920 lumens of light, and it's rated for up to 50,000 hours of service. Because it's LED, it draws hardly any power at all. And when you're plowing, this is very beneficial with all the running of the high draw winch. Along with the light bar, I'm using a super simple Polaris light bar wiring kit that comes with everything pre-installed. No relays or fuses to wire, just attach the power and ground, cut in our switch, and plug it into the light with a sealed factory push and click connector, and the light is on.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Princess Auto, a unique world of equipment, tools, and more. Closed captioning of Dirt Trax is sponsored by MBRP Power Sports, race-inspired performance.
While I have the handlebar pod off to wire up the light switch, I figured that I should add in a couple of accessories that are going to make plowing more comfortable. And when it's cold outside, no one ever wishes away more heat. And hot grips are the backbone of a comfortable plowing experience. If your hands are warm on a -40 night or in the middle of a snowstorm, you can keep plowing. But as soon as you lose feeling in those digits, yeah, you're not going to be plowing for much longer. The Polaris Hot Grip Kit is simple to install, straightforward, and while it does require a little wiring, it's not too hard to get done. Removal of your stock grips can be done with a little work, but worst case, just order a new set of grips and cut the stockers off. This kit comes with a nice pod-mounted switch that allows for high and low heat settings. Now, if you're taking the time to install hot grips, you might as well take the time to install a thumb warmer because one pretty much goes hand in hand with the other. The install kit is nearly identical to the hot grip kit and goes on in a very straightforward way. It's good to note that the Polaris brand accessories also come with paper instructions and are easy to follow, so you're not left scratching your head or having to go online to find instructions. The thumb warmer pad adds a good heat to the pad and also features a high and low setting on the switch. With both hot grips and thumb warmer installed, along with the front LED light bar, we have lots of switches on the upper pod, but there's more than enough room, and it really does add a significant level of comfort. And not only comfort, but safety, as it's just not any good plowing in bitter cold temps with frozen digits. If you've been there, you know exactly what I mean. So now that we've got comfort covered, I figured since it's hunting season in the region that I live in, we might as well add some accessories for hauling gear. 'Tis the season. And the Sportsman 1000S is ready to haul up to 1,750 pounds towing and 500 pounds on the rack. But up front, a little extra help could be used to get a bunch of gear on there. The Ultimate Series rack extender isn't your typical rack extender. And by that I mean that rack extensions look, well, pretty much ugly and very utilitarian. But Polaris was able to shape this 7-inch front extension with some really nice design cues that add style as well as functionality and give you an overall increase of 7 inches of extension, more than enough to strap feed bags, coolers, waterproof duffels, or anything else that you could want up there and not worry about it coming off when you're blasting the trail. I mean driving respectively. Along with the integrated 1000S front bush bar, this rack extension looks great and will add huge functionality to allow us to use up that increased rack capacity this beastly ATV provides. So the next obvious step is probably adding a rear rack extender, and Polaris makes one for this model, but for me it's not the next choice that I want to make. No, I want sealed storage that's not only big, but easy to get rid of for the summer months where I just want to put all that 1,000 horsepower and travel to the test. So for my last piece, I went with a massive 25-gallon lock and ride storage box from Polaris. The cargo box is lock and ride, so it's only seconds to install or remove, and it's also lockable with a padlock option. It's angular and styled, so it doesn't look out of place, and the molded-in seat recess means you're not going to be knocking into the box when you're riding and leaves lots of room for bigger guys to still move way back on the seat and feel comfortable. In the winter months, I can add some bags of salt and sand to this box for both weight on the rear tires and for spreading on the walkways, and then likewise put it to use for the wet spring and fall riding seasons to keep 25 gallons of my stuff out of the elements and safe as well. Made from high-density polyethylene, it's ready to abuse and will be there for years to come. Now, it wouldn't be right to not actually use this stuff, and most importantly, I want to push a little snow. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. The amount of snow you can push is real, and while it's early season, I can tell that this is going to be a great winter investment. Along with the easy-to-use plow and the quick tilt feature, I'm loving the fact that in only thin motocross-style gloves, my hands are toasty warm. And in fact, I've got to put the grips and the thumb warmer down to low or it's just way too hot. The LED light bar will be useful once the sun goes down, which is earlier and earlier this time of the year, and I'm confident that should I need to add some weight to really start pushing banks back later in the season, I'll have the capacity out back with the box to load up some sand and the extender up front to pile a few bags there too, and really be able to show the snow who's boss. While the Sportsman and Scrambler 1000S can be looked at as strictly sport ATVs, the truth is there's a whole lot of utility built right into their DNA. So don't be afraid to outfit them with the tools you need to get all those big jobs done.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Shock Strap. Start strapped, stay strapped.
Here at Dirt Trax, we're truck people, and we've always been proponents of utilizing everything your truck has to offer. And for the off-road world, that means not only your trailer hitch, but all that room in your box. And more importantly, the space that above your box can offer. Now, we've been working with Marlon for quite a few years, and one of the cool things that I find about this innovative deck company is the fact that they don't just make products for one season. And by that I mean that most deck companies you'll find out there only make products either for full summer or full winter. And with winter just around the corner in our parts, we have our sled deck already in the box of our truck, but as you can see, we have a little something extra added on. And that little something extra is the Explore 2 side-by-side riser kit, an easy bolt-on adapter that allows you to haul any side-by-side you want, from a 50-inch wide 2-seater all the way up to a turbo 4-seater. While there are 2 length options that tailor to your needs, today I have the 120-inch version installed. It allows for a max length side-by-side of 120 inches. This will work for many of today's popular 2- and 4-seat utility and sport utility side-by-sides. Now, if you're looking to go even bigger, Marlon does offer the 165-inch version that tackles the biggest and baddest turbo 4-seat rigs out there. No matter your choice, they both fit from 50 to 76-inch wide rigs. One of the coolest parts about the Explore 2 riser kit is the fact that you still get all of the usable space underneath your sled deck. You get all of this while you're hauling a side-by-side up on top of your rig without a trailer. I mean, this is really cool. Now, if your side-by-side is 50 inches wide, you can always use the stock telescopic ramp that came with your Marlon Explore 2 deck. And it works great. However, for anything above 50 inches, you're going to need to use a set of Marlon's side-by-side specific ramps. Now, loading up is something that I always get asked a lot about, and that's because it looks pretty aggressive when you're loading one of these things, but don't worry. After you do it once, you're going to feel completely confident, and there's a lot of built-in safety features with the Marlon decks. From the side-loading safety bars to the ramp traction to the ramp sidewall lifts, you'll be a pro at loading your side-by-side in no time. And if you don't like the thought of using the throttle to load up on top of the riser, it features a built-in winch mount and winch hook location, so you can permanently mount a winch on the deck or just use your side-by-side's winch to pull yourself up. Now, when you're ready to put sleds back on the deck, you simply remove 4 large bolts and you're back in business for the winter months. Now, if you don't have sleds or the need for a sled deck, there are options for all of you out there who are just looking to haul side-by-sides specifically. And that option is the Explore 2 side-by-side deck. Utilizing many of the same smartly designed features as the Explore 2 riser, this is a fully integrated system that loads into your truck box and allows the transport 2 and 4-seat side-by-sides in a truck box from 6.2 to 8 foot in length. Now, along the same lines as the stock riser kit, the Explore 2 deck will take up to a 120-inch long 2- or 4-seat side-by-side. If you want to go up to that 165-inch max length, you're going to need to add the optional extension kit. On this system, the ramps are stored internally between the wheels of the side-by-side, allowing for the main portion of your truck box to still be used. While it doesn't offer the same level of security for gear in your truck's box, it also comes in a very reasonable price, significantly less than the sled deck and riser kit, and still allows you to haul any side-by-side you want with nothing but your truck. And let me tell you, the looks you'll get, yeah, people come a-running to check out this setup every time we roll down the road. Marlon's a company that gives you a whole lot of options. Whether you want to take a side-by-side, ATVs, or sleds along with you, you don't have to have a trailer, but it gives you the option to take a trailer with you should you want to. Their products are smartly designed, well-engineered, and they get the Dirt Trax stamp of approval.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Argo. Go anywhere.
4 years ago, Yamaha introduced a new concept into the sport side-by-side marketplace and answered a question that many had been asking. What would a side-by-side be like with a fully manual transmission? Would it work? The standard at the time was the CVT, and it worked great, though it did have a few shortcomings, most notably belt durability, especially in extremely hot environments. The YXZ with its fully manual transmission, complete with manual clutch, erased that problem, doing away with the belt entirely. It was a fresh and unique take on what a pure sport side-by-side could be, and at the time it stood out in a growing crowd of vehicles that all started to look pretty much the same. Immediately after releasing the YXZ, Yamaha released the YXZ SS, which used an actuator to operate the clutch and a solenoid to operate the shifter, all controlled by a set of steering column mounted paddle shifters. The idea behind the SS, or Sport Shift, was to make riding the YXZ easier and simpler on varying types of trails. Both the standard YXZ and the SS really were showstoppers and had everyone here at Dirt Trax completely addicted to pounding shifts at full throttle. Fast forward to 2020, the YXZ has now been with us for 4 years and, other than a rad relocate and a mild restyle, has remained mechanically unchanged. But in those 4 short years, the competition has moved forward with new platforms, new engines, and even a new non-CVT competitor in Honda's Talon. So what we all need to know now is, does Yamaha's YXZ still stand out? Is the driving experience it offers still unique and exciting enough for it to remain valid in today's sport side-by-side marketplace? The question has to be approached from a number of angles because the YXZ really does offer a multifaceted driving experience. It's not just an engine and transmission, it's a complete vehicle. So let's answer this question bit by bit. To start, let's look at the chassis. When it was first released, I raved about how good this chassis and suspension setup was. Handling whoops, high-speed corners, and harsh landings were just a few of its strong points, and those are still strong points today. This is still a very competitive chassis, especially when put up against other 110 to 130 horsepower 64-inch wide units. No, it can hold a candle to the 72-inch wide 180 horsepower vehicles, but it's in a completely different class, so that's a moot point. Ergonomically as well, the 2020 YXZ is still excellent. Even better than the original, in fact, because the rad has been moved to the rear of the vehicle, which has helped reduce cockpit heat big time. I have always really liked this seating position. Sightlines over the hood are still the best in the business, and there's so much room in the driver compartment that I actually have to move my seat forward, which is a first for me. In terms of features, this new edition of the YXZ, called the XTR package, is the most fully jammed version Yamaha has ever offered. It includes a sweet-looking gold and black color scheme with matching beadlock wheels and matching seats, a factory-installed Warn winch, a roof, and a set of YXZ-exclusive 29-inch Maxxis Carnage tires. In my opinion, the XTR package should include Yamaha's ultra-trick and multifunctional Adventure Pro tablet-style GPS unit, but I'm not going to get super upset and start a complaint thread on the forums about it. I don't think it's any secret that the most unique aspect of the YXZ has always been its engine and transmission. When it was first released, it featured the industry's first 3-cylinder power plant and the industry's first non-CVT transmission. Now though, Can-Am also has a 3-cylinder engine and Honda has a gear-on-gear auto-shifting transmission, so those two things are no longer unique to the YXZ. And they do one-up the YXZ in both areas. Can-Am's engine is smoother and quieter and makes more power even without a turbo, and Honda's DCT transmission is smoother, has fully automatic shift programming, and makes way less noise. Before you get all uptight and accuse me of not liking anything but a CVT transmission, let me say this. Yamaha is a motor company first and foremost. Building some of the world's most impressive engine and transmission packages is what they do. So I have no doubt whatsoever that a new engine and transmission package that addresses any of the YXZ's shortcomings isn't far off. But more than that, Yamaha has proven over the past 5 years that they are committed to growing and improving their lineup of side-by-sides. Does the 2020 YXZ still stand out in the pure sport side-by-side marketplace? Yes, but not nearly as much as it once did. With that said, it does still offer a unique and exciting driving experience that is unlike anything else in the industry. And we think, with a bit of extra attention from Yamaha, it could once again take its place as not just an impressive performer, but also the most unique pure sport side-by-side in the industry.
Dirt Trax has been sponsored by Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. Can-Am, we're built for this. And by Hercules Tire, ride on our strength.
Thanks for watching Dirttraxtv. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button and leave us a comment. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and if you want to be notified of future updates, make sure you turn the bell on. Thanks for watching.